One of the coolest things to come out of the retro scene in the past few years has gotta be the striking progress people have made decompiling, or even recompiling now, old games. Decompiling, for the uninitiated, is the process of reverse engineering a game to obtain something equivalent to its original source code. Once you have this, it's a lot easier to analyze the game's code and figure out how it works, which can really enhance the knowledge of the modding community. It's also possible to take that code and, instead of compiling it into a game for the original hardware, instead compile it to run on another system entirely. You could, say, take an N64 game and port it to a modern PC, or a handheld system, or even any other random system under the sun. In fact, this has been happening a lot and is the most exciting outcome of decomps. There have been several N64 games ported to PC recently, and a lot of them are the work of a team called Harbor Masters. They first hit the scene with Ship of Harkinian, a port of Ocarina of Time, and then moved on to Ship 2 Harkinian, a port of Majora's Mask. Then came Starship, a port of Star Fox 64, and their newest project has finally become available for download. Ladies and gentlemen, Spaghetti Kart, a PC port of Mario Kart 64. The coolest thing about all these ports is definitely all the enhancements available. All these ports can be played in widescreen, even ultra widescreen if that's your thing, and higher frame rates. Much higher frame rates. There are also granular tweaks to game functions, straight up cheats, and in the case of Ocarina of Time, entirely new co-op and randomizer modes. These are, without a doubt, the coolest way to play these games in 2025. Of course, you do need to be able to dump your own ROMs from copies of the games that you actually own to do this legally. No piracy here, Nintendo. Out of all these PC ports, I think Spaghetti Kart is probably the most exciting to me. There's just so much potential here. Already in the project's pretty early state, there's an option to enable harder computer players, custom faster CC settings, and the ability to load and race on entirely new custom tracks, which is really exciting. There are only 2 tracks floating around out there that I'm aware of right now, but I'm sure we'll see more in the future. Maybe we'll get retro-style backports of modern tracks. Now that would be awesome. I've also seen efforts in the Harbor Masters Discord to get character and stage texture mods working, which appears to be progressing nicely. My hope is that eventually we'll get a version of the Mario Kart 64 HD texture pack, which itself is already an amazing project. See, Mario Kart 64's racers aren't 3D models, despite the fact that this is a 3D game, which is something that I'm sure is made abundantly clear by the crisp HD presentation of Spaghetti Kart. No, these characters are pre-rendered. So the creators of the Mario Kart 64 HD pack had to meticulously craft brand new models for the characters and stage elements that look accurate to how they look in-game, recreate all the necessary animations, and then render them all out one frame at a time and import them back into the game, which is, like, an insane undertaking. To see these 2 projects come together would be really cool and would definitely be the ultimate Mario Kart 64 experience, especially if future custom tracks are also created with HD assets in mind. The promise of Spaghetti Kart is absolutely crazy, but even in its current state, it's already a really fantastic project. After all, even if it's just regular old Mario Kart 64, this game playing in widescreen 240 frames per second is something you have got to see to believe. But as great as it isn't perfect. As this is still pretty early on, there are a few issues I noticed while playing the game on stream. Like how the game crashes when you beat a cup as Wario or Donkey Kong, or occasional graphical hiccups on the race results screen. And while recording some extra footage for this video, I noticed that the computer players don't seem to handle the custom CCs particularly well. I did have the harder CPU setting enabled, so maybe that had something to do with it? I don't know. What I do know though is that this is a super cool project and definitely worth a download. It's been awesome to see the efforts of people like the Harbor Masters team to decompile, preserve, and port all these games. Making these games accessible like this is the greatest thing that anyone can do to carry on their legacy, and it's a real shame that companies like Nintendo really just seem allergic to doing this kind of thing themselves. It's literally free money. Slap Mario Kart 64 on the eShop for $20 with HD visuals and online and it'll sell like crazy. Heck, make it 40, we'll all be donating our kidneys someday to afford game prices anyway. I just have one question. Is there anyone out there working on DK64?